So prompting is important, and you can get a lot more out of an AI system when you create prompts with the proper amount of context. But I'll tell you that you can't out prompt an AI that doesn't have any context.
Hey there, and welcome to a brand new edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hassman, and joining me today is a brand new rock star. Super excited to dive in today. He is a digital marketing consultant. He's the founder of The Click and co-author of Digital Marketing for Dummies. I absolutely love that. So Russ Henneberry, thanks for joining me.
Hey, great to be on.
Absolutely. So I want to dive right in. As we were talking right before we started recording, I mean, everybody wants to understand AI, how that makes sense, how it doesn't make sense, all the ins and outs. And so kind of want to start there. What are some mistakes that you see businesses making when they try to use AI to help with their marketing?
So hands down, I mean, the biggest mistake that I'm seeing with marketers using AI is that they're using generic AI. So they're using ChatGPT 4.0 or they're using Claude 3.5 Sonnet or Gemini or whatever it is, which is fantastic. They're extremely capable tools, incredibly knowledgeable, have taken in the entirety of the internet into their, huge brains, correct? But the problem is that these AI systems don't know anything about the businesses that they're marketing. So what you want to do is you want to take something like ChatGPT 4.0, and you're going to need the paid plan. But what you do is you're going to add context to the AI. So you can just go in there. This might sound to some people, until you've tried it, a little complex, but it's super simple. Go into ChatGPT and you create a custom GPT. And that custom GPT, you can attach knowledge to its brain. So think PDF files, for example, spreadsheets, any context that you think that AI system needs, go ahead and attach that. And it works the same way you would attach a document to an email, is you just upload files into the AI system. And this does a couple of things. One, that knowledge is now part of what I call its persistent memory. So every time you fire up that custom version of ChatGPT, you are eliminating what I call the cold start problem. So the cold start problem is that every time you fire up a new GPT, it has amnesia. It doesn't remember what you talked about yesterday. It doesn't remember. So it's super forgetful. But when you create these custom GPTs and you add files to what I call its persistent memory, those memories are there. Those files are there. And they're also, Kirby, what I call the primary memory. So they check those files first before going out to reference other data. So obviously, like when we're working on marketing, some really good files to add to your AI's persistent memory in a custom GPT are things like your customer personas or offers, like descriptions of your products, like more detailed than you would think. Like get sort of detailed about your offer. Like how much is it? Is there any warranties or guarantees? How does it work? Are there any bonuses? Are there any add-ons? Are there terms and conditions? Put all of that into a single document, export it as a PDF and upload it into that AI, and then save it using that custom GPT. And then when you fire that GPT up, it's ready to rock and roll. There's no cold start, and you'll be shocked at the output.
Yeah, I think that's great advice, Russ. It's taken me a while to utilize it, but giving it background and then telling it who it is and kind of acting as, I found that to be super helpful. It's like kind of like what you're saying. You're seeing a lot of junk out there. Do you think that by giving it that persistent memory and then doing better prompting, is that sort of the key to getting better results out of AI?
So prompting is important, and you can get a lot more out of an AI system when you create prompts with the proper amount of context, like you think through your prompts. But I'll tell you that great prompting is not you can't out prompt an AI that doesn't have any context. So a lot of what I see a lot of people doing is creating these big, long, crazy long prompts, and saving them in a Google Drive or something. And then they go grab it and they paste it in there, which is not super efficient anyway. But in addition to that, that AI system, when you paste it into like a session inside of your AI, it's going to eventually forget what you had in that prompt. So it's as you continue to talk to it, it will start to run out of what are called tokens, which are basically just words, if you want to simplify it. Eventually, it will run out of words and it'll kick out the oldest tokens in its memory. And that's why I talk about this idea of persistent memory. You put those files, if you've got a really great prompt, put it into the instructions in the GPT and save it there, and then add the documentation to it, save it, and then it'll always start with those persistent memories. So prompting is important, and understanding how to write great prompts is great, but it's really the key insight here is how to customize an AI. And all three of the major players, Claude, of course, ChatGPT and Gemini, all make it super, super easy to create these custom versions of their AI.
I love it. I love it. Now, obviously I'm a marketer. You're a marketer. So some marketers I hear are afraid AI is going to replace them. What's your perspective on that?
Well, so the term that I've been using lately, as soon as 2025 kicked over and we started to see AI agents coming out, so now OpenAI has released two agents, which first one's Operator, which operates your keyboard and your mouse. It's definitely early days for that. Just playing around with it, it's pretty sluggish and slow and so forth. But you can see just how powerful something like Operator is going to be as it's able to just use your computer while you either work in another tab or you go to lunch, right? It just literally can log into things and move data around. It can do research and bring it back and put in a spreadsheet. It's really wild to watch Operator. And then they released Deep Research on Sunday as the time we were doing this recording. And Deep Research is also incredibly powerful. It thinks through research problems, gathers information, and makes decisions as it's going through its research. It's much more powerful than what I've seen out of Gemini's Deep Research agent. So there is digital labor has arrived, right? We have the capability as marketers, as entrepreneurs, as people running businesses to employ digital labor. So we can think about hiring, training, supervising digital labor forces. And for me, there's, it's sort of a glass half empty, glass half full question. And I see it half full. I see the ability for my small business to employ lots of digital labor to do more and more and more for my clients and customers and grow my business. And this is the message that I'm trying to get out to people is learn these systems and start to employ digital labor. A single human being can have and will have. There's no question about it. It's coming. Single human beings will have access to infinite amounts of labor. If you know what you want to build, you can get that done. And so I think we're going to see this explosion of productivity. We're going to see an explosion of very small businesses like mine, what I used to call tiny businesses, like one or two people with a few contractors can get so much done. So it's going to be super exciting. And I don't see the negative side of it outweighing what I see to be these huge benefits of learning these systems. It's just a matter of whether you want to adapt and learn it and get involved.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on this, Russ. I think it's been true of millennia. If you stick your head in the sand and wait for it to go away, then it will replace you. If you jump on board and learn the tools so that you can make your business stronger, I think it will do just that. So I agree with you. All right, final question for you. Let's say you're listening to this and you're like, okay, I've been the person who's had my head in the sand here, but I'm buying what you're selling. We need to get started out using AI. What's one piece of advice you'd give somebody who's just starting out?
Well, I think a big piece of advice is that if you've just played with these systems a little bit or just kind of heard about them and just played a little bit, you might think of these AI systems as creation engines, like that they create things like new blog posts or articles, or images, videos, all these things. And they can do that. That's, and they're getting better and better and better at that. But I would say that is its weakest capability. The place where we are seeing the most efficiency gains and increased quality, greater speed, all of these things is in its other three core capabilities, which is organize. So the ability to organize information, anytime you're working with data or you're working with large amounts of text and things like that, think to yourself, is there a way for this AI to help me organize this information, synthesize it, tag it, summarize it, all these things? It's just this transformation engine. It can go in and find the things that you're looking for. And that's true in multi-modes, right? Text, you can put video into Gemini now. So the more modes that open up, the more we'll be using AI as an organizing function. And then you have research, of course. It's very, very good at research. Of course, it hallucinates and things like that, but it is starting to become more and more grounded, at least in the internet, right? So it's able to go connect to the internet and find information and be grounded in that quote unquote truth of the internet. But you do have to be careful, but it is an amazing research engine. You can use tools like free tools like Perplexity. And if you start to use it a lot for a lot of research, like Upgrade. But we just talked about earlier, like OpenAI's agent that's able to do deep research. Gemini now is a deep research engine. So it's an amazing research engine. And then the last one is evaluate. We take and give. So you've got create, organize, research, and evaluate. That last one is really great because AI systems are much better than humans at knowing what's missing or being able to recognize a pattern. So when I create content, for example, I will give something to the AI that I've already created, and I'll say, what is this missing? That's a really, really great question to ask an AI system. What is missing from here? Because we don't see that as well as they do, right? We see what's there and we're able to improve what's there more likely. They are very good at finding out, like, well, you've got these ideas. Here's 3 or 6 or 10 more. And some of them won't be any use to you, but there will almost always be stuff that you're like, wow, I didn't even think about that. So that evaluate function is another one to think about.
I love that. It's so funny. I'm hanging out with more people who are doing a great job using AI. And every time I have a conversation like this, Russ, I end up with one like, oh, that's a good one. Like, and the idea of what's missing from this. I like that a lot. That's really good.
It's a good question to ask.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much. Where can folks find more about you, learn more about you?
Well, you can go to jointheclick.ai. I've got a membership there. It's free. I do a lot of free training, including something called I call the 60-minute AI marketing jumpstart, which you can just jump in and do 60 minutes and kind of get your feet wet with AI. But then there's more and more advanced training, and even up to the level where you could be a pro member, and that costs $348 a year right now. And I also do team training for companies that have teams they want to up-level the entire team, come into training and implementation. And so you can go to jointheclick.ai for that. But then I'm always on LinkedIn. So I just search Russ Henneberry on LinkedIn and connect and say hi.
That's awesome. Russ, thank you so much. This has been really, really informative and fun. We'll have to do it again sometime, okay?
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me on, Kirby.
You bet. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.